Alright, so I just spent the weekend in Tokyo and we're going to talk about the entry for February 4th, 2024. First off, let's start with the bad. I regret booking a capsule hotel in Shinjuku for a lot of reasons. But first, let me say last year I went to a capsule hotel in Nagoya that was very clean, very nice, not as many people, and was a good experience overall. So I thought this one would be fine. And I'm not saying every capsule hotel is bad, but I think this experience alone is enough for me to try to avoid them in the future. I'd say the biggest issue for me was the amount of people that were in the capsule hotel. I think in a single floor, I remember seeing at least 100, possibly up to 200 to 300 people for the numbers, because it was like 6,000 something, 6,100 maybe to 6,200 something. And that many people on the floor, well, guess what? Some people are going to smell, some people are going to snore very, very loudly, some people are going to be rude and talk while others are trying to sleep in the middle of the night. And some people are just watching anime out loud for whatever reason at midnight. This also means some areas smell worse than others. The bed was very, very tough, a little bit harder than what I'm used to. Although I did sleep okay the second night, the first night was... Either way, I learned my lesson. And my advice would be, if you're going to a place that's highly populated, such as Shinjuku. Actually, Shinjuku is like super weird. It's like crowds of people all around, everywhere, all the time, even if it's like midnight and so on. I mean, I did go on the weekend, so maybe it's more on the weekend, but there's just so many people. So it kind of makes sense that there are also so many people in the capsule hotel. Not doing that again. Besides that, on this day in the morning, we went to a place called Cafe Veloce. That's because it's connected with the capsule hotel in terms of like, if you book the capsule hotel, there's an option for like a breakfast that you can add if you pay like $2 more. So I went for that and it was alright overall. Afterwards, I visited the Hanazono Shinto shrine. It was a very small shrine, but cool to look at. It was nearby. Then I went to the Meiji Jingu, and the entrances of that place is just amazing and incredible. I wish I got to spend more time there, but I was there because I was waiting for a friend to get ready and let me know when she was ready, then we could meet up. So I wanted to just do things beforehand. So this wasn't planned, but the first place I went to in the Meiji Jingu was a pond. And when I got to the pond, what I saw was extremely disappointing and heart-wrenching. The pond was completely dried out. There was nothing but rocks. And I think at that point, my friend messaged me and I was sort of glad in a way, because I was just so disappointed by the fact that that place just didn't have a real actual pond and I got fooled by the maps. I'm pretty sure it's also a thing like in winter, the water's just not as high because it's cold. Some water might be frozen and so on. So wrong season, I guess, to visit the Meiji Jingu. But afterwards, I met up with my friend at Ikebukuro station and we just walked around Sunshine City Mall for a good while. That place is actually really, really nice. I definitely recommend checking it out. Ikebukuro is overall pretty nice and a place I'm more familiar with now since I basically spent the whole day here. But on this day, it happened to be an event. I think my friend said that they have a monthly event where cosplayers go to the park area and there's like a lot of cosplayers, like as many as Anime Expo, if not more, surprisingly. I mean, maybe I shouldn't be surprised since it's Japan, but seeing cosplayers like all around a mall and a park area, it was just kind of surreal, I guess. And everyone has really, really great costumes and wigs. It's at a different caliber compared to at Anime Expo, I'd say. And there were a ton of photographers with lots of lights and gear all around the park. Unfortunately, you have to buy a ticket to take any photos and participate in the cosplaying stuff. So that was something that was unfortunate since it would have been cool to have recorded some of that. For lunch, me and my friend ate okonomiyaki, and it was one of the first few times I actually got to actively make it. There are some restaurants that make it for you. This one gives you the ingredients and you basically have to make it yourself. So that was very interesting and fun. I got to flip the okonomiyaki and it was intact for the most part, so I felt proud of that. But I'd say my friend did 90% of the work for making it, and it tasted really good. I definitely changed my mind about okonomiyaki. I think the first time I ate it, I just didn't like it as much, but this time it tastes good. From there, I think I went to the first two-person karaoke I've ever done. It was just me and my friend, but she likes singing and I like singing too, so it was just an easy activity for the both of us. And from there, we went to a hub I don't personally drink, but she wanted to check it out. So we did watch some, showed each other some like YouTube videos and stuff that we personally follow and just talked. And afterwards, we went to an arcade to find a machine that had Mario Kart that only costed 100 yen per play. Since yesterday, we played at a different arcade where it was 200 yen per play. The arcade that we found is called Adores, so it's like Adores. But that's also something I wanted to mention. Yesterday's video where I talked about things not exactly going well in terms of plans, my friend ended up messaging me after that recording and told me she was free, so we hung out at night, which I was very glad for. So it made my other day in Tokyo not as unproductive, I'd say. Anyways, those were the events of the day. I'd say overall, I was sort of hoping to explore Tokyo a bit more, but my friend was a bit on the tired side, so she sort of wanted to stick with what she was familiar with and stay around the Ikebukuro area, since she used to go there a lot. And I think for me, my purpose in visiting Tokyo was definitely the people that I wanted to visit and talk to and hang out with, so I pretty much fulfilled what I wanted to do. I do think it's kind of interesting though, because at first that was my original intent and I could feel myself letting go of it once things sort of unraveled and the plans fell apart. When that started happening, my own will of wanting to visit more like nature areas and see certain places started to kick back in. So in the beginning of yesterday, I was sort of more like in that mindset and headspace. I just find it very interesting how like my desires and intent sort of shifted after things didn't go as planned. It's sort of like me adapting, I guess, because if I had continued to make the whole like meeting people and seeing people my purpose, I feel like I would have been pretty sad on Saturday. But I mean, I was kind of sad, but after the shift and after exploring Hibiya Park and some of the National Garden, it felt good again, you know? So there's definitely like a balance of wanting to spend time with others and meeting other people and also having your own sort of internal plans and desires, if that makes sense. I just think a lot of my mindset and headspace when I prepped for me visiting Tokyo was all about the people. And that was probably a mistake. Not entirely sure, but it's just something on my mind that I wanted to express. Either way, it was a really fun day. I really like getting to know people, and my friend's a very interesting girl. I'd say one of the funniest things is that the way like she walks pretty quick, at least for me, because I don't really do too much walking in California. But here, where it's super crowded and there's so many people, the way she walks is very impressive. It's just like somehow she dodges everybody, and I continuously got left behind a little bit. So I would always have to like do a little bit of a small sprint after people cleared out. So I kind of told her that she was like a freight train where she just kept going at the same speed and it didn't matter how many people were around. And she laughed about that, and I did a lot better towards the end in adapting and keeping up with her. Also, after we found the Mario Kart, we played it 3 times and she beat me every single time, which was kind of funny, but also a little bit sad. I was very close each time, so I'm not too sad by it, but it was just funny. And for the karaoke, she showed me some songs from Baby Metal as well as Bring Me to the Horizon. Their song Kingslayer is one of the like most fun songs I've actually tried to sing, because for karaoke what I do is I just like hear the verses or just hear the melody and try to repeat it afterwards, even if I'm not like singing it perfectly. It's just fun to do that at karaoke instead of like not trying at all, you know? And it was just the 2 of us, so it would have been kind of weird to just like have one person sing all the time. But yeah, it was a very fun experience to just get to share some music and spark some of the interest I had a while back where I really want to improve my singing, because when there's little people in karaoke, you can definitely hear yourself a lot more. And I feel like there's just a lot of improvements that I can make for singing. I used to be in choir in high school, but it's very clear to me that I am still very much a beginner. So anyways, there were a couple lessons in the whole story. Obviously, the first one, don't book capsule hotels in places that are very crowded. And the second one, which is a little bit more vague and kind of abstract, is try to find that balance between prioritizing people as well as prioritizing the things you want to see and do if you're exploring a new place. There's definitely a lot more to that I need to think about, but it's just something I felt very strongly while I was there in Tokyo. Alright, that's pretty much it for this day. It's actually really nice to be back in Kyoto. The two places really feel like night and day to me the more I get to see them. Okay, that's it for now. I'll catch you guys in the next one.